So hi everyone, welcome back to Project Nourish. My name is Harini and I'm one of the co-founders of Project Nourish. Our goal is to raise awareness about nutrition, nutrient deficiencies, and balanced eating.
And hi, I'm Tia. Today we're really excited because we're joined by a registered nutritionist who will help us better understand nutrition from a professional perspective.
Thank you so much for joining us today. To start, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Jasdeep. I've been a registered dietitian since 2018. Majority of my work has been with seniors in long-term care homes and nursing homes, and I've done a little bit of hospital, but I feel like my passion is more so with seniors in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm. So to begin, how would you define a balanced diet in simple terms for students our age?
Yeah, so for a balanced diet, I would try to focus on, I feel like the easiest part of our plate is the carb. We always have something there, whether it be rice, pasta, potatoes. That's the easy one. Now, where I find that people your age struggle is making sure there's a protein and some vegetables, especially the vegetables. So I would say a balanced meal is really just how kind of what we've been taught for decades is that healthy plate that we learn at school, where it's have your carbs, have your veggies, have your protein. And I find that majority of our plate is carbs. However, as a dietitian, I want majority of your plate to be vegetables. And they can be any. That's the beauty of it, because we're so picky when it comes to veggies. So pick the veggies you like as long as they're there. And this should be what your lunch and dinner look like every day.
Yeah, and you know how you said you're mostly involved with seniors? What do you see in them? Like, what do they lack mostly compared to us?
Yeah, so seniors, so as we age, seniors you'll find, because they're not moving as much, most of them are either in bed or sitting in wheelchairs. So they're exerting less energy and they're using less muscle. So often what you'll find in seniors is they're slowly losing muscle mass. So you'll find, if you look at them, you'll find that their arms may be sagging and they're just losing lean muscle mass. So protein is a big thing for seniors. And again, especially because they're not really moving, sometimes they get bed sores or pressure ulcers. And the way to heal it quickly is protein. So that's one, I guess, something that they could use more of. The other is vitamin D. Not just for them. Most Canadians, 1 in 3 Canadians, is vitamin D deficient. And it's not our fault. It's just because of where we live. We don't get sun for majority of the year. So you'll find, and because these seniors are mostly in nursing homes, so they are indoors majority of the day, if not all day, they're not getting it from the sun anyways. So they're either getting it from food or a vitamin D supplement.
So what are the most common nutrient deficiencies you see, especially among teenagers?
Yeah, for teenagers, specifically girls, iron. Yeah. So many Canadians, and specifically Canadian females, are deficient in iron. And then a lot of so I'm Indian, so a lot of the clients I see in my practice are Indian as well. So a lot of Indians generally are vegetarian. So they're Canadian women, they're vegetarian, and they're just even more now at risk for having low iron because they're not eating meat and they're not getting iron from meat. So we have to be really creative on, okay, how are we getting iron from vegetarian sources? So I find that a lot of teenage girls are iron deficient. For boys, not so common with the iron deficiency. I would say what I'm noticing more would be low vitamin D. That's kind of across the board. A lot of people are vitamin D deficient. So for girls, I would focus more on iron. For boys, it's mostly just being more well-rounded. So making sure we're eating enough, especially at your age. You guys are growing. You're exerting more energy. You are learning. You're in school, but you also usually have extracurricular activities where you're sweating and you're using all your energy. So you guys need even more food. So making sure we're eating enough, girls and boys, making sure we're eating enough food to meet whatever we're doing for the day. And so we're not necessarily hungry or starving or just not meeting our needs for the day. So that's important.
Also, what do you think about people who take vitamin supplements? Like, is that any different?
Yeah, so that's helpful. My approach is food first. So try your best to get it from food. However, if you are eating and you still find that maybe we do a blood test and you are still deficient, supplements do help. However, it's very important to know which one to buy and then how to take it. So you kind of just don't take it like candy. It's what time of the day are we taking it? Do we take it with food, without food? A lot of vitamins and minerals work together. So sometimes it might be smart to combine it with another vitamin or mineral or a certain food to help with the absorption. Because unfortunately, when you take the supplement, just like food, we don't absorb all of it. We don't get the best out of all of it. So it's important to, okay, if we're going to take it, how do we maximize this absorption? So that's important. Knowing how, if I'm going to take a supplement, what's the best way to take it so I could get the most out of it?
Yeah, and what are some common signs and symptoms that might indicate someone is nutrient deficient, but they don't realize?
Okay, good question. So if you find that you're feeling tired, of course there's different, of course if you didn't sleep the night before and you're feeling tired, or you did a lot of work today, you went to school, you did a part-time job and you're tired, that's different. But if you feel like you're very tired, low energy, constantly weak, that can be signs of nutrient deficiencies. Hair loss. So don't get me wrong, we shed hair daily. But if you feel like it's an abnormal amount of hair loss, that can be a sign. White hair, surprisingly, can be a sign. So that's something to look at. Also skin. So if our skin is yellow, or just like if maybe even acne or hollow circles or dark circles or whatever that may be, it's always good to investigate further. That is it related to food? It might not be, but at least we can, double check and see where this might be coming from. And then your gut. How are your bowel movements? Am I having constipation constantly, or diarrhea, or bloating, or abdominal pain that it keeps happening or is consistent? And so that we can further investigate what's going on. So blood tests are important. It's nice to see we can see ourselves. We know what's happening on the outside. It's nice to see what's happening on the inside. And the best way to do that is just to get a simple blood test every year, or even every 2 years if you're a healthy individual. But that's really helpful to see maybe something's going on and we don't know, or we don't notice. Sometimes we may have a deficiency, 0 symptoms. You have no idea. That happens too. So it's very helpful to get that checked and investigated.
Mm-hmm. Why do nutrient deficiencies happen even when people feel like they're eating enough food?
Okay, good question. So you might think you're eating enough food, 3 meals a day, snacks. However, what food are we eating? So is it the same food? Are we eating the exact same lunch and dinner every day? That's great, but it's only going to give you so many vitamins and minerals. You might be missing some. So each meal won't give you everything you need for the whole day. So it's important to change up your breakfast options, your lunch options, your dinner options, your snack options. So you get a variety and you get a little bit of everything. So you might feel full and you might feel like you've had enough for the day or even more than you needed. However, it's important to make sure we're eating the right foods. So what was that lunch comprised of? It will never give you everything you need for the day, but did it give me a little mix of something beneficial?
Yeah, thank you. That was really well said. So how does nutrition play a role in managing conditions like diabetes or like energy levels? Because I know people with diabetes, they're like restricted to food, and like even like how you said, vegetarians. So what do you think like alternatives would be?
Yeah, so the goal is to prevent diabetes, right? So we want, what can we do to make sure we don't have elevated blood sugars or diabetes? So of course, starting as early as possible, getting into healthy habits while you're a kid, while you're a teenager, so you don't have these issues when you're an adult, and you don't have to come see me as a dietitian. So the best way, diabetes is mostly related to carbohydrates, right? And we get scared and then we say, okay, I'm not eating any more carbs. That's not the solution. We need carbs. Carbs are energy. Carbs are delicious. We need them there. It's just about portions and what type. So am I eating white bread? Is that my carb? Or am I eating sweet potato? They're all different types of carbs. Some are better than others. So that's one way to prevent diabetes, is just being mindful of which carbs are we buying and eating, and going for the better carbs. So whole wheat bread, whole wheat tortillas, whole wheat pasta, compared to like your white processed white bread, that will make a huge difference in your sugars when you eat that bread. So keeping in mind of those kinds of things. And the other thing is, I'm talking about natural carbs. The other thing that's important is added sugar. So those little cookies, the drinks, the pop, energy drinks, things like that are quite common, I guess, in your age group. So your Starbucks Frappuccinos, your juices, your pops, what's happening there is we're adding white sugar to those drinks and the pop and cakes, cookies, and whatnot. So that unfortunately affects our sugars even more compared to eating like potatoes or bread that we're so scared of. So I feel like we're kind of more scared of carbs, but we're like totally okay with drinking a can of Coke. So remember, there's different types, and it affects your sugars accordingly. So for someone who's trying to prevent diabetes, and we hope that's our goal. We don't want to have elevated blood sugars. Being mindful mostly of added sugars. A lot of the things at the grocery store, they have added sugar. So look for labels that say no added sugar juice, no added sugar jam, things like that.
What are some healthy snack alternatives you'd recommend instead of highly processed or sugary snacks?
Okay, good question. Good snacks, just real food, fruits. Have an apple, have an orange, have a banana, just fruits. Other good snacks, nuts. I don't think you're allowed to take nuts to school. Have them at home. So a handful of nuts, and I'm talking just raw, unsalted nuts. Seeds. So pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. If you like the taste and don't mind eating them like that, that's a good snack. Cheese and crackers, a glass of milk, hummus and baby carrots, things like that. Yogurt's a really good snack, but again, no added sugar. Remember, so just plain yogurt. If you want to add something to it, add your own berries, add your own fruit. You can add honey to it instead of buying like vanilla flavored yogurt. That's a good snack. So all of these snacks require zero work, right? We're just taking it out of the pantry. Maybe we have to wash an apple or something, but no cooking, no work. So just as easy as a processed bag of something. So I would say these are all better snacks. Cheese. Some people like cheese, cheese cubes, cheese slices, whatever it may be. That's a good snack too.
Yeah, and branching off of that, what are some like common myths that you hear from teens and like seniors? Because I know how you said like it's really easy to just grab an apple and just eat, but like some people don't realize that. So what are some common myths?
Yeah, the big one I notice is soy. A lot of adults try to avoid soy products because there's a lot of myths with soy that causes breast cancer or it has female hormones in it. Men especially are terrified of having soy. So that's a common myth that I often have to debunk. So tofu's great, edamame's great, all of soy milk is great. So that's one. Other common myths are usually fruit. A lot of adults find that fruit is high sugar, so they'll avoid fruit. Fruit does have carbs. It does have sugars. However, they're natural sugars. That doesn't mean we totally avoid them. Fruit's a great snack. Fruit's great at breakfast to add to things. And then the one I spoke about earlier regarding diabetes, carbohydrates. A lot of people won't eat bread or won't eat rice, or I'm Indian, so they won't eat roti because they're scared of carbs, because a lot of people associate eating too much carbs will cause weight gain and diabetes. So what I never want to do is completely get rid of it. Like I said earlier, it's about which carbs we're choosing and how much. How much are we eating at a time? That's important.
What advice would you give to students who want to improve their eating habits but don't know where to start?
Okay. So do a rotation of like 3 items you like. So for breakfast, most people don't mind repeating breakfast. So maybe have like 2 breakfast choices you like. Maybe one is oatmeal and one is a smoothie, and just alternate between the 2. Another thing you can do as a student, because you're waking up early, make your breakfast the night before. do overnight oats. And I don't do overnight oats every night. I make a bunch and put them in the fridge. So you just take it out in the morning and eat it. Smoothies are a good one. So make smoothies the night before so you're ready to go. And you could take that with you to school too and have it in the car ride or the bus or whatever it may be. So do have your breakfast. Do have a breakfast. Don't skip it. Now for lunch and dinner, back to my point about having a rotation. Pick 3 lunches you like and that are easy and quick to make and just rotate through those. So at least you're consistent and there's a routine. The last thing as a dietitian I want is you skipping lunch or it not being prepared. So now we have to buy lunch. And usually what we buy isn't the best. So just have a lunch kind of ready. Wraps are great. Sandwiches are great. I like baking things. So I'll like bake your veggies, bake your potatoes. If you're eating meat, bake a chicken breast. And then have things prepped a little in advance. So rice. I'll boil rice for a few days. So I don't have to, so you're not making or cooking every day. Leftovers are amazing. There's nothing wrong with leftovers. Repeat the next day, repeat the next meal. Take your dinner leftovers to school tomorrow for lunch. So all of these little tips and tricks. We talked about myths earlier. Another myth I find that a lot of people are fearful that frozen fruit and frozen vegetables are less healthy than fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. That's not true. So if you find that buying frozen veggies will be an easier way for you to eat your veggies, do it. Same with fruit, do frozen fruit. Fruit and veggies go bad so quick. If you buy them frozen, you'll save money, they'll last longer, and there's no washing or cutting involved. So it'll make your life a lot easier when it's time to cook.
Yeah, and considering the fact that like people say to have 3 meals a day, what do you think about people who like strictly fast or like diet just to lose weight, or religious reasons, like having 1 meal a day, that type of diet?
Mm-hmm. So usually when we're trying to lose weight, we think the less we eat, the better. So like you said, fast as long as you can or eat as few meals a day as possible. That's necessarily not true. The best way to lose weight is to eat. Eat on time, eat regularly. And it's because it's not about because I can fast all day, eat 1 meal, and it could be the worst meal ever, where we won't lose weight. So I rather you eat regularly, eat your 3 meals. However, what are we eating? It's all about the what. Like, what am I actually getting out of this meal? Also, when we eat 1 meal a day, like I said earlier, that 1 meal isn't going to give you everything you need. So you for sure will be deficient or lacking other things. Maybe we're losing weight, but there's no way this is healthy for us. There's no way it's sustainable. So you may stop, and then we gain all the weight that we lost. So it's best just keep a good routine, keep it regular, keep it consistent. And what am I eating? That's kind of the big question. So yeah, I'm eating 3 meals, but are they good meals? So keep it consistent, keep a routine. Try to eat at similar times. It'll never be perfect, but try to eat similar times every day. And that will help with weight loss if that's what the goal is, or just general healthy eating.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Because it's the new year, a lot of people have that goal. So yeah, thank you so much for answering that. And a personal question for you, why did you decide to become a dietitian and like your path?
Yeah, so I didn't know what a dietitian was until grade 10. I don't know if your school has this, but my school had a class called Food and Nutrition.
Oh, yeah.
We learned about nutrition and we got to cook things. So in that class, I was 16 and we learned about my teacher mentioned dietitian as a job. And I thought, what? There's a job where you tell people what to eat. Like, that's so cool. So my school also had co-op.
Yeah.
Where they sent, okay, so you know what that is. So I took co-op in grade 11 when I was about 17, and I asked to be with a dietitian. So they put me at Toronto General Hospital with a dietitian as my placement, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and it was just a no-brainer from there, and that's what I studied in university, and then I did my internship for a year after, and then I've been working ever since.
Okay, wow, that's great. And one common, like, last question is, what nutrient do you think people often overlook? Like, they don't think it's as important.
Oh, that's a good question. I would say focus on iron. A lot of foods that are iron rich are also protein rich. So it's kind of a nice 2-in-1. If you're eating something for iron, you're also getting a lot of protein out of it. So it'll meet your iron needs, it'll meet your protein needs, which will help you, because I as a dietitian, I do want you to eat lots of protein at every meal, and I do want you to get lots of iron in as well. And iron's a little difficult to get, and it's a little harder to absorb. So I would say focus on iron. It is often overlooked, and we're often deficient. So I would say focus on that.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to it with us today. We really appreciate your insights and advice.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. This was incredibly informative and helpful. For everyone watching, make sure to follow Project Nourish for more nutrition education and awareness content.
And if anyone wants to reach you, where would they be able to reach you at? And like, how do you help them?
Yeah, so you can search me on Instagram, Jasdeep Singh RD, or my website, jasdeepsingrd.com, and my email as well, jasdeepsingrd@gmail.com, to ask any questions or to book an appointment with me. I am 100% virtual, so you can have an appointment with me at the comfort of your own home. And if you have any questions, I do offer free discovery calls, so you don't have to book, there's no obligation, so we can even talk on the phone just to see what you're looking to get help with.